Hello, and welcome to another episode of What's Up with EVs. My name is Melissa Churchill. I am your host, and I'm here. I work with CAA Atlantic. And today we are delighted to have our friend and partner, Brandon Piper, here, visiting us from NextRide, Nova Scotia. NextRide is a really key partnership with CAA Atlantic, and we're very much promoting the advocacy and adoption towards electric vehicles. So we're really delighted to have Brendan here today. And today we're going to talk a little bit about our partnership with NextRide and also to Brendan's going to dispel some myths and some misconceptions for us about electric vehicles as well. So Brandon, I'll turn it over to you if you'd like to chat a little bit about NextRide.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Melissa. So NextRide is primarily an education and awareness campaign. We're a not-for-profit through the Clean Foundation, funded by the Department of Energy and Mines. And we are likewise thrilled to be a key partner with CAA's electric division. They bring a Tesla Model 3 as well as some fabulous staff into the fold, which make our jobs so much easier. We go all around the province with NextRide, as well as CAA staff, and we deliver test drives where the participants actually get to get in the vehicles and try the vehicles out for themselves. It's really a key gap in Nova Scotia at this time, is that we have too few electric vehicles, in our opinion. So we're trying to get out there and raise the adoption rate of electric vehicles.
And I know so far, just in coming on with this program a few months ago, it's been a real joy and pleasure to get to know NextRide more and to become involved with them. You can see the really strong interest and excitement and engagement that happens when people get introduced to electric vehicles, especially for the first time. So it's been a great partnership, and we're thrilled that we're a part of it with you. Brandon, I think we're going to chat a bit about the myths about electric vehicles. So the first one that I'm going to bring up is a big one, I know, for folks. They tend to have a lot of thoughts about, wondering where I'm not filling up my vehicle with fuel, I'm charging the vehicle instead. What's the sense of range? They're concerned that they may not be able to get from A to B. The term range anxiety is a real thing. A lot of people have that, which we hear about all the time. So if you want to just chat about that a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's one of the key, I would say one of the top three concerns on people's minds when they first discover, the concept of EVs, or maybe they've heard just snippets in the news about electric vehicles, and they're not quite sure about the technology. Is this a legitimate technology? Will it get me from point A to B? Will it serve as a vehicle? Yes, absolutely. So electric vehicles have come amazing. They've advanced in amazing strides over the last few years. We're seeing now with electric vehicles in the 2020 model range going in excess of 450 kilometers for some of the longer range vehicles. You don't have to get a vehicle with a battery pack that large and that much range, but those options are available to you. So range anxiety, what's key to remember about range anxiety with electric vehicles is that the average Nova Scotian trip distance daily is only 40 kilometers. So a lot of these vehicles are 400 or more kilometers in range. You could do that daily trip 10 times before you had to recharge your battery. The fun part with electric vehicles is, though, you get to charge them every night. It's kind of like owning a gas station in your backyard. You plug it in at your house, you charge it every night like a cell phone, and then you wake up to the convenience of a, quote-unquote, full tank of gas every day.
Very cool. Yeah, it's true. It's neat to see. A lot of people, I think, they have in their mindset that they're going to be traveling, hundreds of kilometers all the time. But that's, like you said, that's not tends to be the case. Our lifestyle is really dictates that we're working, we're at home.
Yeah.
So you're able to very successfully charge it overnight in a much shorter period of time than what you would expect. Awesome. So another thing, Brandon, that I know is a common thought about when people are looking at electric vehicles in the beginning versus petroleum-driven engine vehicles, combustion engines, is the upfront cost. Usually the upfront cost can be a little bit higher,
Yes.
than what we're used to. So if you wouldn't mind just maybe digging into that a little bit.
For sure,
Great.
yeah. Again, one of those top three things that we hear about at NextRide is, as you know, when participants get in our vehicle, they're so excited by the technology, by the performance of it, and it kind of gets their mind to thinking, okay, well, hold on, this sounds too good to be true. They must cost a whole heck of a load more. Well, it's not necessarily the case. The initial cost does tend to be higher, but not as much as people might naturally assume for the performance of the vehicle they're getting, and the fun that they're having with the vehicle. Doesn't cost as much as what some people would assume. They do tend to be higher. The key thing to remember about electric vehicles though, is that they're going to save you a little bit of money over time, year after year, to the point where studies have been done that compared a Tesla, similar to the one that's downstairs at CEA's office here, a Tesla Model 3, to a higher trim level of Honda Civic. And over 5 years, what they found was actually driving just a little bit over the average amount that a Nova Scotian would, after that 5-year period, they actually balanced out and they had cost parity just from the savings of driving that Tesla. So it's interesting. Most people wouldn't think of a higher trim level of a Honda Civic being a luxury vehicle. Well, in this case, the Tesla is considered a luxury vehicle, and it actually reached cost parity with those savings after 5 years.
Wow.
But I will say that initial cost can be a significant barrier for lots of people worldwide, not just in Nova Scotia. And what we're seeing is that as automotive makers become a little bit more developed with their systems, their technology, we are starting to see those prices begin to decrease a little bit. And it's anticipated somewhere between 2023 and 2025 is cost parity between the gas engine models and our electric vehicle friends.
Exactly. So over time, really more and more, I mean, there won't be much of any difference in the upfront cost. And I know too, as is the case in Canada and whatnot, there are rebates as well that are in place for purchasing electric vehicles and whatnot, depending, federal rebates, right?
That's right. How can I forget? Yes, there is a federal rebate offered right now for electric vehicles under a certain price limit. It's a $5,000 rebate, and it comes right at point of sale. So the dealership has to actually file the paperwork, saving you time.
Awesome. Something that is an interesting thing of note, kind of tying in with that, I know, is that people would assume, okay, well, if the upfront cost is high, it must be costly to, service and maintain the vehicle, repairs. It must be, a thing as well too. So, which isn't really the case at all, is it, Brendan? If you want to chat about that a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're right. A lot of people assume, newer technologies. That must mean that the supply chain for replacement parts are, difficult and expensive and extremely timely. Those are all being improved upon rapidly. And what we're seeing now is that there's so few moving parts in these electrical drivetrains, these electric vehicles. There's thousands of less moving parts than in a gas car. There's so much less friction, wear and tear. It's just not there. So what we're seeing with the maintenance bills are that they're far less than a comparable gas car. So it's really exciting. And it's the most significant savings that an electric vehicle owner will benefit from. The next, though, is the cost of electricity versus gas. Gas kind of fluctuates a little bit in price, as we know. It's at $1.10 right now, I think, here in Nova Scotia. And what we're seeing is that at that level, it would be like buying electricity rate. It would be like buying a liter of gas for around 30 to 35 cents.
Right.
That's roughly the conversion rate from gas to electric that we're seeing. So maintenance savings and then energy savings as well. So really exciting time to get with an electric vehicle.
That's awesome. Yeah, the savings are immense, really and truly. And I mean, the thought of not having to take your vehicle in for any number of hundreds of problems that could be wrong with it in a combustion engine vehicle is, I think, a key factor in, in making the decision to, to go electric. It's just such a great cost savings and overall time savings as well too. We all need more time these days. So something else that I wanted to ask about is, I think people aren't as familiar with the types and the makes and models and whatnot of electric vehicles, and I think folks might be, concerned about the limited, either, the types that are available or the availability itself. I just think in time there will be more and more, options that come out, right, for electric. Do you see the same thing happening as well?
Yes, absolutely. The amount of manufacturers that are making electric vehicles now, we're seeing newcomers. I'll call Tesla a newcomer. We're seeing newcomers enter into legacy auto manufacturers sort of landscape. We're seeing those legacy auto manufacturers like GM and Ford really expanding their horizons into electric vehicles. So really exciting time. We're seeing an immense amount of growth with the models that are being offered. We've got SUVs, we've got sedans, we've got hatchbacks. Soon we will have trucks in 2022, 23. So trucks are coming. We're also seeing cargo vans and delivery vehicles. Really exciting time. And for those in Nova Scotia that would like to get a sort of a sense of the dealerships in their local area that are licensed to sell electric vehicles and plug-in hybrids, they can go to evassist.ca and check out our dealership map. And you can actually find a Google Maps layer. We've done all the work of calling them, figuring out who has a license, who doesn't, who knows about electric vehicles, who doesn't, and who offers it and who doesn't. So we'll save you guys the legwork. evassist.ca.
Awesome, Brendan. Thank you so much. So I think that's going to be the first of our series here with Brendan Piper. Brendan is, as you can tell, he is a wealth of knowledge. So we are so happy to have him here with us and to share some of his knowledge and information and expertise with us here. So Brendan, thank you so much for joining us. And we'll be back with another episode of What's Up with EV with Brendan. And remember, the future is electric.